Nora, a vibrant 17-year-old, was always connected to her friends, whether in person or through social media. She spent most of her time glued to her phone, constantly sending messages and sharing updates. Her mom, Emilia, often watched her with worry. Emilia longed to connect with Nora, but her daughter always seemed distant and preoccupied. One day while cleaning, Emilia found an old photo album filled with memories of their family. She hoped to share these precious moments with Nora, believing they could bridge the growing emotional gap between them. That evening, Emilia tried to engage Nora in conversation, pointing out her declining grades and concerning behavior. Nora, however, brushed her off, her eyes fixed on her phone screen. "I told you I'll improve, okay? Leave me alone," she snapped, dismissing her mother's worries. Emilia persisted, expressing her concern about Nora's growing detachment. "It seems the only things that matter to you are your friends and that phone." Nora rolled her eyes and left for the night, leaving Emilia with a heavy heart. "Please listen to me," she whispered, her words lost in the empty room. "I just want you to understand that I care, that I want the best for you, that I'm trying to make sure you have a future." Later that night, Nora returned home late and slipped into her room without acknowledging her mother. "If my mom wakes up, she'll grill me about my grades. It seems like that's all she cares about," she thought, annoyed. The next day, Emilia sat in the living room, lost in the photo album. Her eyes, now creased with age, glistened with a mix of nostalgia and sadness. She longed for the days when Nora would listen to her stories and seek her company. When Nora entered the room, still glued to her phone, Emilia seized the opportunity to reconnect. "Nora, darling, do you have a minute?" she asked, hoping to share a special memory. "I wanted to show you something I found today. It's about our family, something you may not remember, but it was very meaningful to me." "Ah, Mom, now is not a good time," Nora replied distractedly. "I'm talking to my friends about something important. Maybe later, okay?" She barely glanced at Emilia, missing the disappointment in her mother's eyes. Emilia felt a pang in her heart, but persevered. "I understand you're busy, but this won't take long. It's a memory from when you were little, a moment that always made me smile." She opened the album to a specific page, hoping the images would capture Nora's attention. "Remember this photo? It was taken on your 8th birthday. You were so happy with that chocolate cake, your smile lighting up the room." Nora finally looked up from her phone, her interest fleeting. "No, Mom, I don't remember. That was so long ago. We should focus on the present, not the past." She returned to her phone, ignoring Emilia's effort to connect. Emilia felt as if she had been stabbed. She closed the album slowly, her heart heavy with sadness. "I just wanted you to see how important these moments were to me," she murmured, more to herself than to Nora. "It seems the past has no value to you, but it's part of who we are. It has shaped our lives in so many ways, and I just wanted to share that with you." Nora felt a twinge of irritation at seeing her mother's sadness, but pushed it aside, determined to focus on her own priorities. "I understand, Mom, but I need to focus on my things now. Maybe we can look at those photos together later, okay?" She got up, ready to escape back into her digital world. Resigned, Emilia watched Nora leave the room. "I just want her to understand how much I love her and how much these moments mean to me," she thought, fighting back tears. "But how can I do that if she's always so distant? I have to find a way to reach her, to make her see what truly matters." She sat on the sofa, staring at the closed album, feeling utterly alone. Nora paused in the hallway, glancing back at the living room door. Should she go back? No, that would only delay her further. She felt a twinge of guilt, but convinced herself she was doing what was best for her. "I'll talk to her later. I need to sort something out with my friends now." And with that decision, she continued on her way, leaving Emilia with her memories and loneliness. Hours later, as Emilia cooked dinner, her mind raced. She knew she had to confront Nora and try to work things out. The sound of the door opening and closing signaled Nora's return, and Emilia knew it was time. Emilia wiped her hands on her apron and headed to the living room, ready to have a serious talk with Nora. "Nora, we need to talk now. We can't go on like this," she said, her voice firm but laden with emotion. "You can't keep treating me with such indifference." Nora, sitting on the sofa with her phone in hand, sighed in exasperation. "Mom, we already talked about this. I'm busy with my stuff." Why do you always choose the worst moments for these conversations? She stood up, ready to leave the room, but Amelia blocked her way. Don't you understand how much this stresses me? I just want a little peace, Nora said, her irritation evident. Amelia stood her ground. You always say that, but you never have time for me. I'm your mother, Nora. I deserve some respect and consideration. What's happening to you? Why are you so distant? I just want to understand. I just want to help. I feel like I'm losing you and it's destroying me. Her words came out with difficulty, the pain evident in each syllable. Nora scoffed, crossing her arms. You don't understand, Mom. You never understand. I have my life, my problems, my priorities, and you're always pressuring me, wanting to know everything. It just makes things worse. I need space. I need you to stop suffocating me. The anger in her voice was palpable, her eyes flashing with frustration. A wave of sadness, but also determination, washed over Amelia. I just want what's best for you, Nora. I want you to be happy and safe, but I can't do that if you don't let me into your life. I'm not trying to control you. I'm trying to be a mother who cares and loves you more than anything. Is that so hard to understand? Yes, it is hard, Nora exploded, because you don't give me space to breathe. You want to know everything, control everything. I'm not a child anymore. I know what I'm doing, and I need you to trust me. I'm tired of this pressure, this control. I can't live like this. She grabbed her bag, clearly ready to leave. Amelia panicked. Where are you going, Nora? Please don't leave like this. We need to work this out. I don't want you to go away angry. Please, let's talk. She reached out to touch her daughter's arm, but Nora pulled away, rejecting the contact. I'm going to my friend Mariana's house. I need some time away from here, away from you. Maybe then you'll understand that you can't control everything in my life. I'll come back when things are calmer. Don't wait up for me, Nora replied, her voice cold. Then, without looking back, she walked out the door, leaving Amelia alone in the living room. Amelia's heart shattered. How did they get to this point? She needed to find a way to reconnect with her daughter before it was too late. But how? How could she do that when Nora was so determined to push her away? Tears streamed down her face, her helplessness and devastation overwhelming. Outside, Nora felt a mixture of anger and relief as she walked away from the house. Maybe this would show her mother that she needed space, that she needed to understand. But a part of her felt guilty and confused. Was she being fair, or was she just running away from her problems? She shook her head, trying to push those thoughts aside as she made her way to Mariana's house. Amelia spent the rest of the evening in a whirlwind of worry and sadness. I just want her to be happy, she thought over and over. But how can I help her if she won't let me? What can I do to show her that everything I do is out of love? Mother and daughter were separated by a wall of pain and misunderstanding, each struggling to find their own way through the storm. When Nora reached her friend's house, she felt a sense of calm seeing someone who understood her. Mariana, can I stay here for a while? I had a nasty fight with my mom, and I need some time away from home. Mariana nodded, hugging her reassuringly. Of course, Nora. You can stay as long as you need. Back at home, Amelia felt desolate after her argument with Nora. She knew she had to do something. I need to go after her. I can't leave it like this. I need to try and fix things tonight, she thought, determined. She grabbed her coat and headed to Mariana's, where she knew Nora would likely be. At Mariana's door, Amelia hesitated before ringing the bell. Her heart pounded, fearing Nora's reaction, but knowing she couldn't give up. Mariana opened the door, surprised to see Amelia so late. Mrs. Amelia, Nora's here, but I don't know if she wants to talk right now. She's very upset. I need to talk to her, Mariana. Please let me in, Amelia pleaded, her voice trembling, but resolute. Mariana nodded and led her to the living room where Nora sat on the sofa, still scrolling through her phone. Mom, what are you doing here? I told you I needed space, Nora said, clearly irritated. Nora, I know you asked for space, but I can't just leave things the way they are. We need to talk and try to work this out, Amelia said, approaching her daughter. I came here because I care about you, because I love you and want to understand what's happening. Can we at least try to talk? I don't want you to feel like I'm abandoning you or that I don't care. Nora sighed deeply, crossing her arms. Mom, I said I needed space. You can't just show up here and expect me to go back home as if nothing happened. I need time to think, to breathe. Don't you understand how difficult this is for me? She looked down, trying to gather her thoughts. I know you worry, but sometimes it feels like you don't trust me, like you don't think I can handle my own life. Emilia's heart ached, but she remained calm. I do trust you, Nora, but it's hard for me to see you pull away like this. I feel like we're losing each other, and that scares me. I don't want to control your life. I just want to be a part of it. I want to make sure you have good grades and a good future. We can try to find a middle ground. I'm willing to change, to give you more space, but I need you to try to understand my side too. She paused, looking at Nora with eyes filled with hope. I just want you to know that I'm here for you, always. I don't want you to think that I'm abandoning you or that I don't care. Nora shook her head, still resistant. I don't know, Mom. I feel like every time we try to talk, we end up fighting, and that just makes everything harder. I don't want to go home now. I need this time away to think, to figure out what I really want. She looked at Mariana, who was watching the scene silently. Maybe I'm being selfish, but it's what I feel I need to do. Emilia's heart clenched, but she didn't give up. I understand, Nora. If you need more time, I respect that. But I want you to know that I'm here for you, always. I don't want you to think that I'm abandoning you or that I don't care. I just want us to have a chance to understand each other better, to rebuild our relationship. She stood up, preparing to leave. If you need me, you know where to find me. I'll be waiting with an open heart. Nora watched her mother leave, feeling a mix of emotions that left her confused. Maybe she was being too harsh. Maybe her mom really was trying to change. But she quickly pushed those thoughts aside, determined to stick to her decision. I need this time. I need this space. She looked at Mariana, seeking comfort. Thanks for letting me stay here, Mariana. I don't know what I would do without you. Mariana smiled, trying to ease the tension. Of course, Nora. You can stay as long as you need. But maybe you should consider talking to your mom more. It seems like she's really trying. Mariana's words echoed in Nora's mind, but she wasn't ready to give in. We'll see, she said, unsure what the future held. Emilia returned home feeling emotionally exhausted, but somewhat relieved for having tried. I hope she understands that I just want what's best for us, she thought, preparing a cup of tea to calm her nerves. I'm not giving up. We'll find a way to get through this. She sat in the living room, pondering what else she could do to regain her daughter's trust and love. Nora woke up the next morning at Mariana's, still feeling confused and divided. Should she go back home? Maybe her mom really was trying to change, but she felt trapped by her decision to maintain distance. I'm going home. I need to at least hear her out, she decided. When she arrived, the house was quiet, the silence heavy in the air. Mom, I'm home, she called, but there was no answer. Sighing, she left her bag on the sofa and began pacing the room, her hands trembling with nervousness. Maybe she went out? I hope she's all right. I need to talk to her. Try to fix this. But the house remained silent, with no sign of Emilia. Remembering the photo album her mother had tried to show her, Nora decided to look for it. Maybe by seeing those photos, I'll understand what she was trying to show me, she thought, feeling a mix of curiosity and reluctance. She found the album on the bookshelf where Emilia had left it the previous night. Nora sat on the sofa, carefully opening it. The first photos were familiar. Birthdays, family vacations, happy moments that now seemed distant. As she flipped through the pages, one photo caught her attention. It was a picture of a pregnant Emilia, but the date on the photo predated her birth. Nora frowned, confused. What does this mean? My mother always said I was her only daughter. Could she have lied about something so important? She thought, continuing to browse the pages. Bewilderment and curiosity grew within her. She found another photo album hidden at the back of the shelf. It looked older, its cover worn with time. Why did my mother never mention this album? Who is this man, and why did she never talk about him? She wondered, carefully opening it. The first photos were of a young Emilia, smiling brightly. Nora's mind raced as she flipped through the old photo album, each picture revealing more secrets. There were photos of a baby, different from any baby pictures she'd seen of herself. Who is this baby? Do I have a brother or sister that my mother never mentioned? She wondered. She felt a surge of conflicting emotions. Anger at possibly being deceived, sadness for an unknown past, and intense curiosity for answers. This changes everything. I need to find out the truth, she murmured, pacing the room in a state of agitation. Why would my mother hide something like this from me? Determined to uncover the truth, Nora searched the house for more clues. She found a box of memories in Amelia's closet filled with letters and more old photos. These letters might have the answers I'm looking for, she thought, her hands trembling as she opened the first one. The faded ink was difficult to read, but she could sense the love and pain in the correspondence between Amelia and an unknown man. Who is he? And why did my mother never mention these letters before? With every sentence she read, a new question arose, fueling her curiosity and sense of betrayal. As she searched for more clues, she found a yellowed envelope, different from the others. Inside, she discovered a partially illegible document mentioning something about a lost son. Her heart pounded as she read those words. Lost son? Do I have a sibling that my mother never told me about? She wondered, feeling a mix of anger and sadness. Why would she hide something so important from me? Frantically, Nora opened more letters, desperate for answers. Some mentioned dates and places that made no sense to her, while others seemed incomplete. This is so frustrating. I need to know the truth. This is driving me crazy, she thought, a lone tear trickling down her cheek. My mother must have had a reason, but why didn't she tell me? Amidst the pile of documents, she found an old photo of Amelia holding a baby. But again, the date predated her birth. Who is this baby, and why did my mother never talk about him? Just as she found a promising letter, she heard the front door open. Amelia walked into the house, her tired expression quickly shifting to surprise as she saw Nora with the box of memories. Nora, what are you doing? She asked, her voice a mix of surprise and worry. Those are my personal belongings. Why are you rummaging through them? She rushed over, trying to take the letter from Nora's hands. Nora backed away, clutching the letter tightly. I was looking for answers, Mom. You said you wanted us to be closer, but you never told me about these letters, these photos. Who is this baby? And why did you never talk about him? Her voice was full of emotion, her eyes demanding answers. I found a document that mentions a lost son. What does that mean? Do I have a brother or a sister that you hid from me? Amelia tried to stay calm, but the tension was palpable. Nora, there are things you don't understand. I had my reasons for not talking about this. Please give me those letters. We'll talk about this civilly. These are things from the past that I tried to leave behind. I don't want you to get hurt. Nora shook her head, refusing to relinquish the letter. No, Mom, I need to know the truth. You can't keep protecting me from everything. I'm old enough to handle this. Please, just tell me what's going on. She insisted, tears welling up in her eyes. I feel like my whole life has been a lie. You owe me this. Amelia sighed deeply, realizing there was no escape. Nora, there are things that are difficult to explain. I didn't want you to find out this way. Please understand, I only wanted to protect you. Her voice was thick with emotion. But maybe you're right. Maybe it's time for you to know the truth, even if it hurts. Nora felt a mix of relief and apprehension. Then tell me, Mom. Tell me everything. Who is that baby in the photos? What happened? I deserve to know the truth about our family. I won't leave until you tell me everything. She sat down on the sofa, looking at Amelia with resolute determination. Amelia looked at the letter in her hands, feeling the weight of the past. The baby in those photos was your older brother, she began, her voice trembling. I had him before you were born. It was a difficult time, and I made decisions that still haunt me. I thought hiding this from you would be best, but now I see that I was wrong. The words came out with difficulty, but she knew she had to continue. Nora listened intently, feeling a mix of sadness and anger. So, I have a brother? Where is he now? Why did you never tell me about him? The questions came pouring out, the urgency in her voice growing. I can't believe you kept this from me my whole life. I deserve to have known all along. I felt like you were hiding something from me, and I didn't know what it was. Tears streamed down her face, but she made no attempt to hide them. Emilia tried to soothe her daughter, but emotions were raw. He's gone, Nora. I lost him before you were born. It was the hardest thing I've ever gone through, and I didn't know how to talk about it. I thought it would be best to leave that pain in the past. Her own tears began to fall. I know it was a mistake to hide this from you, but I was trying to protect you from a pain I thought you didn't need to feel. Nora felt a sharp pang in her chest. You should have told me. I deserved to know. I felt like you were hiding something, and I didn't know what it was, she said, her voice breaking. I understand you wanted to protect me, but we need to be honest with each other. This is part of our family, part of our history, and I need to know everything. Emilia recognized the gravity of the situation. You're right, Nora. I should have been honest from the beginning. Let's sit down and talk about everything. I'll tell you what happened, every detail. She sat down next to her daughter. I hope we can get through this together. I don't want any more secrets between us. I promise I'll tell you everything. Nora looked at her mother, feeling a mix of relief and distrust. Okay, Mom, but I need you to really keep that promise. I can't handle any more secrets, she said, wiping away her tears. Let's start now. Tell me everything about my brother and what happened. I want to know the whole truth. She took Emilia's hand, ready to hear the whole story. Emilia took a deep breath, knowing the truth was finally about to be revealed. Nora, there's something else you need to know, she said, looking directly into her daughter's eyes. She felt the weight of decades of secrets and the importance of this moment. She knew she needed to reveal everything, even if it meant risking her relationship with her daughter. Nora, there's something I need to tell you, something I've kept for all these years. It wasn't out of malice or to hurt you, but because I thought it was best for both of us. When I lost my first son, I thought I could never be happy again. It was the most intense pain I've ever felt, a pain I don't wish on anyone. My world fell apart, and I didn't know how to move on. Nora watched intently, absorbing her every word. I was completely lost, Emilia continued. My husband left me shortly after, unable to cope with the grief and guilt. I was alone, not knowing what to do. One day I decided to go for a walk in the park to clear my head. That's when I saw a little girl crying. She was thin and scared, desperate for a hug. That's when I found you. You were just a little girl, wandering the streets, hungry and helpless. You were only 3 years old and completely alone in this world. Something inside me broke seeing you in that state. I knew I couldn't have any more children, and at that moment, I felt that maybe this was a sign. Emilia paused, fighting back tears. I decided I couldn't just ignore you, not after losing my son. I regretted every day that I couldn't be a mother, and there you were, so small, needing a mother and love. I made the decision to adopt you, to give you the home and love you deserved. It was a long and difficult process, but I was determined. I wanted to be the mother you needed, and I wanted you to have a better life. Every day was a battle, but I was happy to finally have you with me. I never regretted that decision, Nora. I never told you because I was afraid of your reaction, afraid that you would want to find your parents. I was afraid of losing you as I lost my son. Nora felt a wave of emotions as she listened. So I was adopted. You never told me that. Why, Mom? I deserved to know from the beginning, she said, the pain and confusion palpable in her voice. Emilia felt the truth in her daughter's words. I know, my love. I should have told you, but I was afraid. I was afraid you would see me differently, Emilia confessed, tears welling up in her eyes. Afraid it would change our relationship. I waited to tell you when you were old enough to understand, but you became so distant that I was afraid of losing you with the revelation. I wanted to protect you from the pain and confusion it might cause. Emilia took a deep breath and continued. I thought if you knew when you were little, you might feel rejected or inadequate. I wanted you to feel loved and wanted, like every child deserves to feel. But now I see that hiding the truth was a mistake. I understand that you feel betrayed, and I apologize for that. I just want you to know how much I love you and how much you meant and still mean to me. Tears streamed down Nora's face as she tried to process everything. I don't know what to say, Mom. It's a lot to take in. I feel like my whole life has been built on lies. How did you expect me to deal with this now? Her voice was filled with pain and confusion, reflecting the turmoil within her. Emilia held Nora's hands, trying to offer some comfort. I know it's difficult, Nora. I know I was wrong not to tell you sooner, but please understand that everything I did was out of love. I wanted to give you a full and happy life. You have always been my daughter, regardless of how you came to me. I chose you, and I would do it again without hesitation. I hope that one day you can understand and perhaps forgive me. Nora pulled her hands away, feeling even more lost. I need time to think, Mom. This is all too much for me. I need space to process everything. I don't know how I'm going to deal with this, but I need to figure it out for myself. I always thought I knew who I was, but now I feel like even that isn't true. Emilia's eyes filled with tears. I understand, Nora. Take all the time you need. I'll be here waiting. Whenever you're ready to talk, just know that my love for you has never changed and never will. You'll always be my daughter, and I'll be here to support you, no matter what. Nora looked at her mother, feeling a mix of love and anger. I need time, Mom. I need to be alone now. She left the room, leaving Emilia with her tears and regrets. Emilia knew the road to reconciliation would be long and difficult. Nora left the house in a whirlwind of emotions, feeling lost and betrayed. Emilia's revelations echoed in her mind, each word more painful than the last. She wandered the streets, trying to process everything. How could she keep something so important from me? Why didn't she trust me to handle the truth? But at the same time, she gave me a home and love. How can I balance these feelings? She wondered, tears streaming down her face. As she walked, Nora found herself at a park where she used to play as a child. She sat on a bench, remembering the happy times she spent there with Emilia. She had always been there for her, always supportive. Maybe she was being too hard on her, but the pain of the lie was still so strong. Still, it could have been much worse if Emilia hadn't found her and taken care of her. She had lost a child and must have suffered greatly. Yet she was a kind and loving mother. Nora spent hours there, remembering her life and trying to find a way to reconcile her emotions. I need to forgive my mother, she realized, but I also need her to understand the pain I feel. I can't just forget all of this. But maybe we can find a new beginning based on truth. I love her, and I know she loves me. Maybe that's enough to start rebuilding our relationship. In the end, I think she's right. I've neglected her many times. I spent so much time with my friends and didn't see that she also had problems, her own pain, and that she did everything to give me love. Hope flickered within her. Determined to take a step towards reconciliation, Nora returned home and found Emilia in the living room, her eyes red from crying. Mom, we need to talk. I've been thinking a lot about all of this, about you, about us, and I've realized that despite all the pain, I still love you. You are the only mother I have ever known, and nothing can change that, Nora said, sitting beside her. Emilia looked at her with surprise and hope. I'm so sorry, Nora. I'm sorry for all the lies and the pain I caused. I never wanted to hurt you. I just wanted to protect you. You have every right to be angry with me. I only ask that someday you can forgive me. Her voice trembled with emotion. Nora held her mother's hand, feeling the warmth of love and forgiveness melting away the coldness of pain. I want to try, Mom. I want to try to forgive you and rebuild what we lost. I know it won't be easy, but I'm willing to do it. And I need to apologize to you, too. I was distant. I ignored you. I didn't know you had been through all of this. I was immature and selfish. Tears welled in her eyes. Emilia hugged her daughter, feeling indescribable relief. Thank you, Nora. This means more to me than you can imagine. We'll face this together, step by step. I promise to be honest with you from now on. I'll never hide anything from you again. She held Nora tightly. Nora sighed, the tension slowly easing. And I promise to try to be more patient and understanding. I know we have a lot of work to do, but I believe we can overcome this. We're going to rebuild our relationship based on truth and love, and maybe we can find a new way to be mother and daughter. She looked into her mother's eyes. Emilia looked deeply into Nora's eyes, feeling a renewed connection. I'm so proud of you, Nora. You're strong, brave, and determined. I know we've made difficult choices, but I trust that we can overcome all of this. I want to be the mother you deserve, and I'm willing to work hard for that, she said, her voice filled with emotion. Nora felt love and determination blossoming in her heart. You already are a wonderful mother. I know you hid something serious from me, but I know your mistake was out of fear of losing me. And I want to be the daughter you deserve, Mom. We're going to do this together, step by step, facing our fears and insecurities. I know we can overcome anything if we are united, she said, a new hope rising within her. Emilia smiled, feeling a wave of relief and happiness. We're going to rebuild our lives, Nora. Together we can face any challenge and find the happiness we both deserve. I love you and that will never change, she said, hugging her daughter tightly. I'm here for you, always. Nora returned the embrace, feeling closer to her mother than ever before. I love you too, Mom. We'll move forward step by step with love and understanding. I know we can do this. As the weeks passed, Nora and Emilia began to rebuild their relationship. Nora threw herself into her studies, determined to improve her grades and make her mother proud. I know she always wanted the best for me, and now I want to show her that I am capable. She spent hours studying and working on school projects. She also spent more time with Emilia, helping with household chores and participating in family activities. One quiet afternoon, Nora started researching online. She found a newspaper article about a car accident that matched her information. She learned that her biological parents had died in the accident when she was very young. Reading further, she discovered that after surviving the crash, she had run off into the streets and was found by Emilia. The article showed photos of Nora's parents holding her before the accident. It was a beautiful photo, showing the affection among them. They must have loved me, but an accident took them away from me, Nora realized. I was lucky to have found a mother who loved me with all her heart. She felt a new wave of sadness for her biological parents. She showed the documents to Emilia, who hugged her lovingly. I was waiting for you to ask about your biological parents when you were ready. I always wanted to protect you from that pain, but I see I underestimated your strength, Emilia said, her eyes filled with tears. You are so strong, Nora, and I'm so proud of you. We've been through a lot together, and I'm happy that we're rebuilding our relationship. Nora smiled, relieved to know the truth. I know they loved me, and now I understand why you adopted me. It was a beautiful and brave gesture. You gave me a second chance at life, and I will be eternally grateful for that, she said, holding Emilia's hands. Their relationship blossomed, based on truth and love. They started participating in community activities together, further strengthening their bond. Nora realized that Emilia's love was genuine and deep, and it inspired her to be a better person. She always wanted the best for me, and now I want to return that love, she thought. Emilia changed too. She became more open and willing to share her feelings and stories from the past. I learned the importance of truth and honesty. My daughter deserves to know everything about me, and I want her to feel like she can trust me completely, she thought. Nora continued to improve her grades and grow closer to her mother. They spent more time together, cooking, laughing, and sharing stories. I'm proud of who I've become, thanks to the love and support of my mother. She gave me everything, and now it's my turn to give back, Nora thought. One weekend, they decided to play games, just like they used to when Nora was a little girl. I want you to know I will always be here for you, Nora, to share joys or face sorrows. We are a family, and that's the only thing that matters, Emilia said with a warm smile. Nora smiled, feeling an inner peace she had never experienced before. I'll be here for you too, Mom. Thank you for everything. I love you, and I'm happy we found each other. She hugged Emilia tightly. They felt closer than ever. Their relationship flourished, full of understanding, love, and mutual respect. Nora felt like she had finally found her place in the world. Emilia was grateful to have such a strong and loving daughter. We're starting a new phase in our lives, and I'm excited to see what the future holds. Come, Nora, she said, smiling at her daughter. Emilia smiled back, feeling complete for the first time in many years. With your support, I know we can face anything. Together we are invincible, and that's all that matters, Emilia said, holding Nora's hand. Nora and Emilia decided to create new family traditions. They started cooking old recipes, sharing stories as they prepared meals. These moments are precious to me, Mom, Nora said as she stirred a pot of soup. I don't think I've ever felt so close to you. Amelia smiled, touched by her daughter's words. Me too, dear. Every day we spend together is a gift. We'll keep making memories and strengthening our bond. In time, Nora found a new purpose. Inspired by her own adoption, she decided to volunteer at a local orphanage. I want to help other girls find the love and security you gave me, Mom. It's something I feel I have to do, she said, determined to make a difference. Amelia supported her decision with pride. You have a big heart, Nora. I'm sure you'll make a huge difference in those girls' lives. And I'll be by your side, helping in any way I can, she said, hugging her daughter. Together, Nora and Amelia built a life filled with love, truth, and understanding. They learned to value each moment and face challenges with courage and unity. We did it, Mom. We rebuilt our relationship and found a new path, Nora said, feeling at peace. Amelia smiled, feeling blessed. Yes, dear. And this is just the beginning. The future is bright, and I'm excited to live it by your side, she replied, her heart filled with gratitude and love. Mother and daughter continued their journey together, stronger and closer than ever. Nora, now aware of her true origins, saw Amelia in a new light, appreciating even more the sacrifice and unconditional love her mother had given her. Amelia, for her part, felt relieved to have finally shared the truth, realizing that the revelation had only strengthened their bond. They began rebuilding their relationship, now based on trust and understanding. They remembered moments from the past with new meaning, rediscovering stories and creating new memories together. Nora became more present and attentive, while Amelia felt more connected and valued. They faced challenges together, knowing that with love and truth, they could overcome any obstacle life threw their way. Nora became more involved in household activities and care, and they started sharing confidences and secrets, creating a bond they had never experienced before. Together, mother and daughter embraced the future, ready to face each day with hope and determination, knowing that the strength of their relationship was unbreakable.